She was wearing my shirt, and nothing else. The first thing I noticed wasn't the silence of the room, it was the smell of rain-soaked air drifting in through the half-open window, the kind that tells you something has shifted, something has broken or begun or slipped out of your hands without warning. And then I saw her. Standing in the dim light of my apartment, barefoot on the cold floor, her back to me, her shoulders trembling like she was holding onto the last thread of herself. She was wearing my shirt, only my shirt, its fabric hanging loosely over her like it didn't quite know whether it belonged to her or me anymore. And in that single moment, with water dripping from her hair and a story in her silence, I knew something inside both of us was about to change forever. If you believe every story hides a lesson, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Humanity Stories before we dive deeper. Her presence felt like a ghost of something I had tried to bury, my past, my choices, my mistakes, now standing in my living room as though summoned by the very loneliness I pretended I didn't feel. The city lights outside flickered across her skin, soft and gold, turning her into something fragile yet unbreakably real. I walked further inside, the air thick with tension and unsaid words, and every step made me wonder how long she had been standing there, how many storms she had walked through, inside and out, before arriving at my door again. I could see the outline of her struggles in the way her breathing stuttered, in the way her fingers twisted the hem of my shirt as if holding on to something she didn't want to lose. She looked like someone who had finally run out of places to hide. The world outside continued moving, cars rushing, horns echoing, life pulsing onward, but inside, time felt suspended. My apartment used to be a place of mess and noise, filled with scattered papers, half-finished thoughts, and a heart that had forgotten what it meant to feel too deeply. But her quiet presence scrubbed everything raw. She wasn't saying anything, yet her silence screamed through the room like thunder. I noticed the bruise on her knee, the redness under her tired eyes, the way she kept stealing short breaths like someone afraid of being told they were unwelcome. I wondered what had happened. I wondered why she had come back. And more than anything, I wondered what she needed from me in that moment, because whatever it was, I already knew I didn't want to fail her again. I offered her space, even from across the room. She remained still, her wet hair clinging to the back of my shirt, droplets falling slowly onto the floor. A small puddle formed beneath her feet, an accidental confession of where she'd been, what she'd survived, and how much she'd carried alone. The city lights dimmed as clouds hid the moon, painting the apartment in shadows that wrapped around her like a blanket she didn't want but desperately needed. And despite the thousands of memories between us, some painful, some tender, this moment felt entirely new. She looked like a person at the edge of breaking, but she also looked like she'd finally come to the one place where breaking wouldn't destroy her. I realized then that love wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was the quiet returning of a familiar soul to a place where they once felt safe. Sometimes it was the softness of an oversized shirt slipping down someone's shoulder because they didn't have the strength left to hold themselves together. Sometimes it was the stillness of a room where two people stood in the fading glow of everything they used to be, wondering if they could be something again, or something better, or something completely different. Beyond everything, it was the unspoken truth hanging between us, that, despite the distance, the silence, the time, she had come back. And I didn't know if this was a beginning or an ending, but I knew it mattered. Her eyes finally met mine, carrying pieces of stories she wasn't ready to tell yet. I saw gratitude, fear, relief, and a kind of exhaustion that lives in people who have fought their monsters alone for too long. And then I felt it, a quiet pull inside my chest, the kind that reminds you your heart is still capable of breaking and healing all at once. She didn't need explanations at that moment. She needed a breath, a pause, a place where someone would finally look at her and see everything she had been trying so hard to hide. And maybe, just maybe, I was ready to be that place again. If this story has made you feel something, anything, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them. Before we close, comment down below and tell me, what moment in your life changed everything without warning? And in that quiet apartment, with rain whispering against the window and her standing lost yet found in my shirt, I realized that sometimes the most unexpected reunion can stitch together the parts of us we thought were gone forever.